I don't know what's going on with that. That's screwing up for some reason. That's bizarre. Stop. That's screwing up for some reason. That's bizarre. Stop. Oh no. Oh, something's affecting our show already. I don't know what it is. Hold on.
It could be the fact that I had a phone call from Afghanistan this week telling me to go and do my lecture. It came up on my phone as an international call. Have you got two windows open?
There's an extra microphone somewhere. Hold on. You still hear it? Yeah, I do. Somebody's playing games already. How do I stop them?
Shall I leave the studio and come back in and see if it helps?
No.
Oh, it stopped.
I think it's on your side. I think it's on your side, Tina.
Hold on.
Hello?
Hello? That's better, isn't it?
Hope it's better.
There's nothing my end. I double checked everything.
All right, it's better now. No, it ain't.
We've got a delay. Why is there a delay? Is our feed being bounced off or something? We've got a delay. Why is there a delay? Is our feed being bounced off or something?
Oh man, something's going on weird. Same thing happened when Sean came on. Oh man, something's going on weird. Same thing happened when Sean came on. I wonder if I could try to sign out and sign back in. You stay there. I'm going to see if I can get out of here and come back on.
Well, hi guys. I'm Tina Barr from Southampton here in the UK, and this week we're on Encounters with Tommy Hawksblood in Hawaii, and we're experiencing some technical difficulties again today. Tommy will be back on shortly, hopefully. But with that, I'll continue until Tommy comes back on. This week I did talking and lecturing at High Elms Manor, and it was the human cost of alien abduction. That was my my speech and lecture this week. It went down quite well. I met Kerry Cassidy there. I met quite a few other people there. Some of the regulars as well. Ben Emily Jones, big shout out. Miles Johnson, Basis Project, big shout out there. So some really cool people there. Some lovely people. People that are very interested. I think because of all the things that have been coming out in light to the public, I think people are more accepting of it and actually believe abductees now, which they should. So that was a step forward, really. I was quite pleased to see that. Kerry was talking about the directed weapons, which actually Tommy's been talking about, saying like DARPA and they're messing about with the island of Hawaii. So, but Kerry kind of confirmed that with her video she played in her lecture, and they were saying how they were using directed weapons on Hawaii. So Tommy has been right. So there's that. But next week, well, I had spoke at High Elms Manor last week, and next week, this Sunday, I'm talking at a local community centre for Help the Community. I'm doing that for free of charge, but I'll be just selling my books there. The following week, the following Monday, next Monday, I am at the East Anglia UFO group. And then after that, I am at The Awakening in Manchester 2023. I will be up there and we'll meet Craig Charles, Jimmy Church, James Fox, and many other people from the UFA field. And that's going to go on for 3 or 4 days. So I'm really looking forward to that. Guys, keep your eye out. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So follow me on there. I have a new book out. It's called The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. And it just tells you about my story. That's all it is about my case and my lifelong case and issues being taken. And I've got my lead investigator statement in there. Lovely gentleman. Big shout out to him, David Hodrin. He's chairman of Birmingham UFA Group, and he's also deputy in charge of ISA here in the UK, International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Contact. So big shout out to those guys. If you want to see me and you follow me, I'll be East Anglia UFO Group, and if you can't make that, I will be at the Awakening in Manchester Friday, Saturday, Sunday this next week. Tommy, hello. Have we solved issues? You're back and there's no echo.
Oh, well, you know, I had to sign out of the site, restart the whole site again, but that's why you stayed on. That was good. All right, people, I don't know what's happening, but hopefully it will be all right for the rest of the show. We have so much to get into, good, bad, and indifferent, but mostly bad, but that's besides the point. The good thing is we're here and back on, but we're going to get into all these things. I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into some of this stuff, Tina, but basically Hawaii, I'm on the Big Island. It was on Maui.
Kerry Cassidy said is that they are using directed weapons, either sound, lights, and fire ones, on the Big Island of Hawaii, and it's causing volcanic problems. And she's on about lots of people being evacuated.
She listens to everybody. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with much of what she says, because every whistleblower comes to her, she adds it to her memory, and it becomes part of her truth. There was a video put up of a helicopter over the area that was burnt, and then they showed you pictures of these two beams coming down, but I don't know if that was superimposed or stuck there or whatever.
No, they showed that video.
But again, there's no proof of how that video was created. Now, we have a HARP system here, and we have a HARP system on that island, and that's the most deadliest weapon on the planet. But we did use a directed energy weapon on California. They did use it on Ohio. But this has been considered the worst fire in our history. All right, so far there's only, there was about 100 people dead, and it said it could go up to 1,000. It could go up to 1,000. They didn't start going into burnt houses and everything else yet. But if you look at it, it's right on the ocean line. And it's really hard for something like that to go on near the ocean. But I'm going to bring up a short story that kind of relates to this. John Ford, who's in the nut house, filmed the ship on Long Island. It crashed right near the ocean line. And basically what happened, it was blocked off for almost 2.5 weeks by the police, the fire department, and black trailers went in and out of it. Black trailers don't go in and out of a fire. They said it was burning. It's flatland, and it was right next to the ocean. And there's not jungles and forests and mountains there. So for them to say it was burning for 2.5 weeks was a lie. I went in there, and I saw where the ship came down and cut out the trees where they tried to burn it. He's in that house right now, John Ford. He filmed it. It was the best video ever filmed, and he had to ship it around the world. But they got him locked in the nut house since 1996. But what I'm trying to say is this whole thing with this fire, I'm waiting for them to actually come out and say what really caused it. Are they trying to say it was the winds that affected the electric lines and then that caused it? Well, for a city to get burnt up like that without no protection, without nobody doing anything, and there was no warning, is ridiculous. It's sad. It's pathetic, considering this island is the first center of defense for the United States. So people better think about what's going on with the islands here in Hawaii, what's happening.
Well, Tommy, I'm not worried because there's an AI report. So the new artificial intelligence was fed into the internet because it can understand pictures now, and they asked it a question to determine when would the collapse of society be, and it said 99.9997% that it was going to happen in 17 years' time. Total societal collapse by 2040.
Well, somebody asked me about TJ's friend. Yeah, she's on Maui. She's probably up in the mountains on a different side of where that fire is, where that actually happened. Hopefully she's okay. But there's a serious problem on the island now. Basically, a quarter of it's burnt away. They're trying to get everybody taken out of there. They're trying to ship everybody to this island or Honolulu or flying back to the mainland. The tickets are $19 to get out of there. So they're trying to get everybody they can. They're taking people on tourists, sending them back home. But they're putting the homeless people in the hotels. Realize most of these people are the rich people of the island. And they're not going to treat them the same as they did when the volcano hit here and everybody was sleeping in tents on the street. So they're giving them a hotel room and everything else. Plus they all got insurance and they all have everything else that most people didn't have when the volcano hit the people here. So it's going to be different. But guess Musk, beside, how do you say it? Bezos, the one of the richest people on the planet, he owns 100 acres here. It's worth $78 million. He's donating $100 million as of 2 days ago. But obviously his property's worth nothing if the whole plant on the island's burnt out around his house. So, but no, I think it's still an incredible gift. I mean, he has the money to do it. So, but again, food, clothing, everything's not going to be there for these people. So it's going to turn into the worst nightmare. It already is.
Tommy, if you need me to send anything to you in the UK out to Hawaii, if things get bad out there, let me know and I can send anything you need out.
Well, this island's a lot different than that island. This is the biggest island. We're the biggest island. Yeah. That's why it's called the Hawaiian island. Maui's, they say it's the second biggest island, but it's small. I mean, Honolulu is small. Honolulu looks like New York City, though. But in the interim, I don't want to stay on that too long because there's so much stuff going on in the UFO world. Now, breaking out the different things, I'm going to go into a bunch of things, but I don't know how much you want to hear it. But what I want to start with, people, I want you to realize we do this show not for money, not for fame, not for fortune. We do this to put the truth out there. Now, Tina has been with me for almost 3 years now. We've been talking about things. We open discussions. Anybody wants to ask questions, please do come in. She's not a storyteller. I'm not a storyteller. But the difference between us and 90% of the people at every UFO conference have zero experience. I'm not talking about the word experiences because they're delusional, but people that actually have actual experiences, all right, and that are aware of what happened. Now, we're going to go into that, but I want Tina just to explain as roughly as you can. I mean, don't make it a super long story if you can, whatever you have to do, but tell your story from the time you were 6 years old.
Wow, yeah, I can do that. I can go into that for you. So,
I'm going to be here. I'm just going to remove me, but I'm going to be here.
Okay, fine. So, hi guys. You know me, Tina Barrett, ET Gal from Southampton here in the UK. First time I was taken, I was 6 years old, so I didn't really know what was going on. All I know is that one night, I think it was winter time, I just got up out of bed. I felt so alert, really alert. I could hear my brothers breathing in the other room. I could hear my mum and dad breathing, lightly snoring in their room. There's a hallway directly to my right and like a landing, and then there was a toilet and bathroom. And the bathroom light was on. And I just had a little pink nightie on. Anyway, I got out of bed, took a couple of steps, and I was listening. I took another step towards the threshold of my bedroom. I went to take another step, and this just bright white light just shone down through the ceiling, covered the whole landing through the floor, and then his face appeared in it. And It looked like a cross between Socrates and Father Christmas, looking back now. But I'm not sure how long I was stood there for. I went to turn because I couldn't move. I'm not sure how long I stood there, but I managed to turn around to run back into my bedroom, and the light overtook me, and that's all I remember. And that was the first time when I was 6. I've had other incidences like my teeth crumbling when they drill my teeth, burning holes in my legs, waking up on one of their benches, and they've got a machine on my chest, and I've got a hole in my chest there. And they were doing something in my chest, and my blood couldn't do nothing. You can only see through your eyes. You're laid there. You can't think. You can't be frightened. You can only look. And one of them freaked out because it had my blood spurting on it, and it freaked out. And then I went bright white light. And then when I came round again, they was telling me that they had to give me clean blood, as I was going to die. And it was like a white little small pouch. He was holding it up in the palm of his hand, and you could see it was all clear. He said it looked like clear blood cells. It looked like thick syrupy water with clear. You could look into it and see. It's easy to look. It's like you zoom in, and you could see these microscopic, tiny little blood cells, but they were white. And he said it's clean blood. They're going to give it to me. And then he must have read my thoughts, because I think. When you're in their link, you can think and you can talk to them. When you're not in their link and you're just looking, you can't do anything. But when you're in their link, you can feel and you can think. So he's like, no, it's not going to hurt you. We put it into your body, and your red blood cells will stick to it, and it will take on your DNA. So they did that. Another time they showed me the clones of my babies. That really freaked me out. These things, they were in black, like 2 feet wide, black, like 1970s. If you had a coffee cup, I'm not sure if you can see a coffee cup like that, and you put coffee in it, it went black in the 1970s. There was a light jet black like that, and then I found out they had a baby inside, and next thing I know, I was back on my bench. This bench had yanked me back, and they brought this, looked like a bundle of rags over to me, and I couldn't move. I had my head turned to the left, because the first time I looked down at the end of the bed, it came up. This creature came up. It didn't want to be near me. Held the baby at a really weird angle, and it pulled the cover back. It was a baby, but it was a clone of me. It was me, but as a baby, it was identical. She was pinker than what I am now. She was really, really pink, and her hair was black. It didn't quite look right, but her eyes were shut. And when she opened her eyes for a second, they were my eyes, but they were black. They weren't near like the apple pip seeds, because they have like apple seed eyes, apple pips eyes. They were like human eyes, but they were all black. And I must have freaked out. All my pheromone level went up, and it all went bright white light. Next thing I know, I'm laid down flat, been yanked back down, and on there again. And he said that I frightened the baby, and I won't be allowed to move. But the baby wanted to meet me, needed to bond with me. So, but I had to agree, because if I didn't agree, then they wouldn't sit me up in it, And I'm like, yeah, I agree, but you sit me up. He goes, fine, you won't be able to move. And then when it went all bright white light, and when I woke up again, my head felt like someone had adjusted my body. My hands were there. My head was like turned. I could see my shoulder and down there, and I couldn't move, couldn't blink, couldn't do anything. And then the same creature brought this little girl over again, this baby, and she was just looking at me in the eyes, and we linked automatically, our own link. It wasn't the link within the ship. It was just me and her. And she said she'd take a picture of me. And I'm like, yeah. And then I said, could you show me the picture? What did you do that for? And she showed me the picture, and I looked awful. I looked like I'd been dragged through her head backwards. I was bright pink, sweating. My hair was a mess. So I looked like the top bit was naked, and this rag on me. And I'm like, why have you done that? And she said, so all the other babies will know where they come from, who you are. And within this image in my head, she showed me that this image she had taken had like my heart rate, my pulse rate, my pheromone level, my hormone level, everything that could possibly have a reading of, she had in this one picture. And I said, what are you going to do there? And she said, it's going to stay in link. So when the babies are grown and they're mature, when they grow them, they all can go there and get the chemical bond, like me and her had, because they all need it, which is why I called my new book The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. It's because they need their babies to bond with their human mother or their clone mother, whatever it is. They need that bond. So, but it was in the link. She goes, forever. So if they claim me forever and ever and ever, they could go back each generation or each time they did it to that exact point in time, and just like a digital catalogue of me, they could upload or download my memories. They had all my memories from a baby till I was like 35, 45. So it was like a few months before, years before there was a cut-off point. But that baby had like 45-year-olds worth, 45 years worth of memory in an 8-month-old baby. What an advantage that is. But she was dark and black inside. And when I say black, I mean void of emotion. She was the shell of me. Inside it was them. So they're using our bodies as vessels because we can do something, whether that's grow souls or whatever. I have no idea. I'm just assuming. So we can do something, they can't. So I learned they can't make embryonic fluid to the same level as a human. They did another operation on my tummy. I thought once I was going to die up there. It was horrendous. This creature came over at me, but they were also frightened of it. Well, I've never seen them frightened or huddled together. So that was that. And then I had a joint abduction with my partner. And the consequences of being abducted, people don't seem to realise, is you vomit in blood, you lose hair, you get burns on you, you lose your teeth, you become infertile, or you have a hysterectomy and they find there's a grey stuff stuck to you like membrane. And then they got drilled hundreds of needle marks and drill marks in your pelvis from left to right, thousands of them. So, and the pain only gets worse as you get older. So there's lots of things people don't think about. And another consequence of abduction and that, which is what. So coming forward, I didn't want to come forward. I only came forward because me and my partner were so ill, or was just looking for help. Never told anyone to that point. Anybody. But then I became, after I did my abduction report, which took about 2 years in total to be investigated in that. I had time to actually reflect. When you write it down and you do, write all that, you go through the process and you get to thinking, and you can reflect more. And that's what I did, and I became very angry about what's happened to me. But if these clones are anything like me, and they are like me, they're like, and I'm a very determined person, very obstinate or very stubborn. Now imagine this little girl when she gets to about 25 or 30. I'm not sure what the growing rate is, how they grow them, or their life expectancy. I don't know. But they've taken her to another planet with millions of these other embryos from other people. Millions. This ship thing was filled up with them. And she thinks, like this for Game of Dynamite, I want to go back to Earth. I want to see Tina. I want to see my family. Or, that would be my mentality. If she is going to get on a ship and create havoc in the universe, who is responsible for that? Who is legally responsible for that? And where does that leave me? And where does that leave the human race and my family? More importantly, what happens if she decides to come back to Earth? What happens to me, my family, or who is responsible, legally responsible for that mess? If that was ever to happen, perhaps that's why they've taken them so far away that they can't get here. I don't know, but so there's lots of things that are involved when you're taken. So people think it's all fairy, and it's not. You have to look at it like an invading force comes into our solar system or outside of our planet. They then punch holes through our atmosphere, troposphere, into our oxygen, into our ozone level with their ships, bringing in bacteria, radiation. They then don't do well on our planet and then crash into the sea. Your children swim in the sea, fish eat from the sea, we eat from the sea, we eat the fish. Is it bleach in the sea? Is it leaking radiation? Your kids swim in that. You eat from that. And where's the environmental report on that? And then you got the same thing. If they crash on the land, people farm that land. They have crop circles on the land. They're bringing radiation and bacteria in. We're ingesting that. Where's all these reports these environmental impact protesters reports. Where are all they? So there's lots of other things, that people haven't even thought of about abduction, and you got a lot. Sorry, thank you. You got the biological effects. So if you become infertile, but it affects you. So you can't become parents, you can't become grandparents. That's the end of your line. The end of your bloodline. People don't seem to realize that. And then it's the human side of the contact is because I've never told no one. It changes my life. It's profoundly changed my life and how I view other human beings. It's profoundly changed my life about trust, who to tell, when to tell, what to tell, and I'm at a distance. I stand off. I don't even really like the human race, to be honest with you. So I don't feel like an outsider looking in. I don't like the human race, so I don't like really other people either. So it's nothing personal. It's just something within me. Now, whether it's made me like that, because there is no help for abductees. There is no recourse. There is no one protecting me. There is NASA's not protecting me. My government's not protecting me. The UN's not protecting me. NATO's not protecting me. These things are coming in unimpeded into our airspace, evading everything, and the police and the military breaking in and coming into my home uninvited and taking me as a child, a teenager, adult, taking DNA, blood samples, bone, teeth, babies, embryos, sockets. And, it's just, so the human race has lost so much to this endeavour, and we don't get compensated for it. I still got to go to work, so my tummy blows up, or I'm in pain, or I'm vomiting blood, my leg swells up, or I can't sleep because every time I turn over, I'm in pain because I've got holes both sides of my pelvis, thousands of them. So, where does that leave me? So, I'm at the bottom of the pile. There is no coming forward. There is no help. There's no real help. You come forward, and all people could do is pick you apart and ostracise you. But unfortunately, now the boot is on the other foot. And I think people are eventually now waking up to the fact that abduction is real, and as they've got a horrifying awakening coming to them, believe you me. But it's Tommy's generation, he's had the same thing. Like as a child, as a baby, you protecting your family. They're coming into your home. Who do you trust? You look for the other side of things. Mundane, everyday life doesn't really interest you because you know the truth. There's a difference. Belief is an act of faith. There's a difference between knowing and believing, and I know, and Tommy knows. So it's a real thing, and it's really happening. So, and then for the government to deny it for years and years, and then all of a sudden, release a document saying they've got a 1,500-page report on abduction and all the side effects of abduction. Well, if they don't investigate public abduction cases, where did they get this data from? Who did they interview? Who did they monitor? Who did they give blood tests to? Who did they give scans and x-rays to? Who did they monitor? So these things are advertised on the news, but no one's asking these questions. No one's seeing it for really what it is. And there's a lot to be questioned now. I wrote to the UN, a few weeks ago, and had no reply whatsoever. So, I can understand they're busy with everything else, and there's different departments, but they haven't even sent me an email. So I'll be trying to follow up of that again. But that's just a few things I've touched on, just a few. There's many, many others of abduction and the way you personally look at it and what happens to you. But I've seen hundreds of other people up there. Tommy?
Well, thank you, Tina. I just want people to understand that we're not just trying to tell stories for no reason. Her life has changed completely. Mine has changed completely. You're not out there worried about making money, and you're not out bragging about your rich situation. You're just trying to bring the truth about it out. All right, my story is a lot different because I wasn't taking ownership. But somebody asked me to tell the story when I was 6. Well, 6 years old, when I was little, we had to get our tonsils taken out. My brother had his taken out already, and I was going to get mine. But they found part of his still left in, so they made us both go into the hospital again and taken out again. So I hate to say his name, Bill Cosby put out an album, and it was ice cream. We're going to get ice cream. He was talking about getting his tonsils taken out. And we're in the hospital singing ice cream. We're going to get ice cream because that's what we wanted. We were little kids. I was 6, and they put us in these cribs with these high bars on the side of us. I was on the back side of one room, and my brother was on the opposite side next to the window. And there was another boy on the far corner on the other side. So I was talking to him. It had to be around 12 midnight. And all of a sudden, I see my brother standing up in the back of the crib screaming, Tommy, 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 his hands up in the air going, Tommy, Tommy. So I jumped out of my crib, ran over to the window, and there's big ball of white lights coming in on my brother. And I see the ship out there. I don't know why, I don't know who was directing me, whatever, but I put both hands like this on the window and spread it apart. And all of a sudden, the beam of light stopped, and then the ship shot right back out into space. All right. I was 6. I didn't know what happened. I don't know why I did what I did. But I know my brother was okay, and we had our tonsils out the next morning and all that. That was the first time for me with an actual experience like that. I'm not going to go into my experiences out of my body and meeting deities and all that other stuff because everything started when I was 6. But by the time I was 12, I had my cousin over for the first time over my house. He was staying overnight. All of a sudden, we hear this noise, and he goes, "What's that?" We go, "I don't know." So we went downstairs, and we saw this thing walking around in my. It was a 2-floor house, and it was something walking around. There was no lights on it, but we had a stove and a heater, and you could see the light from that lighting up part of the room. And we saw this thing walking, so we ran upstairs. We both picked up sticks, and we both went down, and we saw it go right through the door and out of the house. So we're running back upstairs to tell my mother, and she goes, "Come on, I don't believe you." She goes, "Well, why don't you stay over there? Let me talk to him first." And then when we went back into the bedroom, we were going to go to sleep for that night, and we saw the ship in the yard, and then it just left. So I was 12 years old when that happened. But from that point on, I'd say every couple months, I'd see a UFO. They would follow me and things like that. But even when I was driving on the road, by the time I was 20, now the old light ships with the lights going around it followed me for about 20 minutes. And then I've been seeing them all the time. But then I was driving to Long Island, where John Edmonds' thing went down and all that kind of stuff. But I can't go into all the details. There's just too many. But on the way back home, I saw the ship following me for over an hour because it's like a 3-hour ride. And I was like coming back, and it stayed right on the far side of me. But I already saw a government helicopter disappear. I saw a whole bunch of things while I was there. But now the ship's following me all the way back. And then finally it just disappeared. So by the time I was 16, I got involved with so many things. I became a high priest. By the time I was 20, I was doing exorcisms. And then I created a word, psychic implant removals, which I created in my own world and started doing it. The same as I started doing past life regressions because everybody had missing time. That's when I started learning about experiences of UFOs that people have. But I work with women, and nobody's talking about this in the UFO world. I must have worked with at least 10 women directly. I mean, I worked with 1,000 people at least. But 10 women at that time frame, let's see, 52, 62, in the 70s, were abducted, had their child taken at about 8.5 months or almost 9 months before the delivery, taken from them. Now, 2 of the ladies brought me to the hospital, showed me the sonogram. They took X-ray, whatever you want to call it. And I saw the pictures, and she showed the next day when she went to the hospital. The hospital said she can't be pregnant. There's no signs of her being pregnant. So when they took the child, they took every bit of awareness about it from her body. So, but she didn't go public. I wasn't making money. I just helped her deal with the situation, and I helped her understand what happened. But I started meeting people like that constantly. And at that time, nobody was writing books. Nobody cared about it, and you didn't want to talk about it because people out there weren't ready for it or even care about it. And when you said things about it, I was always called crazy because I talked about what I saw.
Yeah, but
I
you've
went.
been proven so many right. But now, looking back, you've done like 50 to 70 years worth of work to me. They may have called you crazy or whatever you're doing, but you're right. You are right. What you're saying is true. What you're saying is right. Kerry
I
Cash,
wanted.
you've been saying about directed weapons. You've been saying about alien abductions, alien beings. Now,
It's just
you know,
for me.
you've been
Well, for
you've
me, it's a
been
matter of like.
vindicated with all
It's
these
well.
conferences and talks going on with the government.
I wanted people to know that I wasn't super crazy. All right, because now it's everywhere. They can't deny it. They can't say, well, this, that. I mean, I had pictures. I started working with a person named Sergeant 18. We shot more pictures of ships, not dots, dashes, or lights, actual ships. We had one blown up by a big photo company in New York City, and they swore that it wasn't created, synthetic, or anything else at that time. And
Oh,
that was
just get it.
96. All right. So, in the interim, we shot pictures almost. We went out every other night, 6 or 5 days a week, from 10 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning, shooting thousands of pictures. We filmed entities, we filmed creatures, we filmed light beings. And he got into something I didn't get into, but we were the first people to go public filming orbs. Wherever we went, we could film them. And then we worked down some techniques that can actually bring them out so you can film them. And we started lecturing about UFOs, but he lectured about the orbs as well. But I was lecturing about spiritualism and the separation between the two. So from 96 to 2002, we were working with global sciences around the United States. We met everybody. Stephen Greer was in the background. He wasn't mainstream. But the important people in the UFO world are all gone. Many of them taken out. Even until like 2 years ago, Ed Grimsley was a friend of mine. And the week before he was taken out, he said, they're coming after me. And he was dead the next week. But I have too many stories like that. I lost 16 of my best friends in the UFO world. And one of them was a whole family. And this family, I knew my friend Rob since I was 12 years old. And he joined and worked for NASA. He designed the space parts for the space probe and everything else. And then I had him come over to my house. And they said, well, don't get involved with UFOs. But he went to a UFO conference. That's how I met him many years later. And I said, come on over. I'll show you real pictures. And he did. He explained to me how planes disappear, how the government makes planes disappear and things like that. But in the interim, he said, Dave warned me about getting involved with UFOs. And he said, well, look, what he wanted to do, and this is a fact, we were going to create a private civilization for us. He had a machine because he designed all the parts for the space shuttle. And he can make anything. So he said, we'll create a little community. We don't have to go outside of it because I can make anything that breaks. And we're going to have a big pool party. It was like 4 days later. I called him. I got his machine. Please leave a message. Never heard from him again. That week, I got in touch with the school that his children were in. They said they haven't come. Didn't come to school for the past week. So his whole family disappeared after that happened. I don't know what happened. I can go on about stories like that. Even in Hawaii, one of my friends, I made friends with him. He worked in the computer store on the Kona side. And I was having my computer fixed. I lost my password. He said, don't worry about getting in it. I was going to a convention there. He goes, you going to that UFO convention? I go, yeah. He goes, well, my father works on the HARP system here. And he was going to give me a video of inside it. And over 2 months, he said he sent it to me. And then when I went to the store again, he was gone. They wouldn't tell me where he went or anything about him. But people, the truth's mainstream. If you find the right people, find the right connections, you'll understand it. And that's all that matters. To prove it to everybody else, it's like trying to prove God exists to everybody on the planet. It's impossible. And there's no reason to. Because most people don't need it, don't want it. You can only give people what they want. And sadly, most people don't want the truth. So with Tina and her experiences and all the things I could tell you about, I can go on lots of other things, crazy or things than that. But the truth is, nobody in the UFO world is helping people get something important for themselves, what they need in the moment.
Yeah.
I don't talk about spiritualism because Tina's a little bit about not believing in too much of what happened to her all her life. I don't blame her, but I do spiritual shows on the side outside of this. And I actually got a call from somebody from 10 years ago in another country. He said he lost my information, and he got in touch with me, and he says, in this country, they don't talk about God at all, and the religions are really bad. And so I said, look, he goes, I said, look, we'll start doing a show. So I might do a show with him once a week now. But here's the thing, people. There's a lot going on. Aliens are not good. They're not spiritual. They're not our friends. And that's the first thing you need to understand. With Stephen Greer, I'd love to face him in a conference and challenge him on every single word he said. They're not here to help us. They never did. And then we get that stupid statement from these people over and over. Well, if they were bad, they would take out the planet. I said, if you have a farm and you're raising cows, you slaughter them all because you feel like it? No, they're your food. And you keep taking care of them. Everyone's here for reasons. I'll say that a little bit later, but they are here for a reason. And if they wanted to destroy the planet, they sure could. But they can't, and they don't want to. Tina, what do you feel actually right now what aliens are doing and what you think? See, now I'm going to let you say what you feel because we always
So
like to
I think
interrupt. Yes.
aliens. I think you're right. Between weighing it up, between actually looking at what they've done to me, what they've taken from me, what I've seen they've done. They don't want any parts of human beings. They don't even like us. They are using us like Tommy. They're using us cattle. They're using our bodies as vessels because we can do something they aren't. And whatever's left over, they could be eating us. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but they could be. I mean, if they're using us for embryonic fluids, they're just treating us like mammals or cows or like Tommy said. If they're growing babies and taking them from us and not using us to do it, they're doing it without the human being, but they're taking the bits from inside us. So it's a bit like not Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. They are torturing human beings to get their essence from the inside, and they use them to their own means and ends, which is leaving the human race absolutely nowhere. And they couldn't give monkeys. No one's stopping it, and no one's protecting us. And that's what I feel aliens are actually doing. So,
Well, I'm sure Tina will agree with me. Aliens never gave the human race anything important to move forward. All right, now I'm going to say this, and nobody talks about it. I was up at where Tesla worked with DuPont and all that. I saw his personal notes. He created 50 deadly weapons, which he gave to the United States. He was given 200 inventions. No, he wasn't a scholar from college and came out and created 200 futuristic inventions, including time travel. No, he didn't, people. All right, he was given all that information. Now, when he did, the last 10 years of his life, he was in a hotel room in New York City, just about brain dead. So they said maybe he's a clone, but I don't get his life story. But he did write a note saying he worked with an alien race. He was working on a doomsday weapon. He created the first earthquake machine. He created the HARP system and time travel. The most deadliest things that will change our reality, which are. I might get into that later. But people, you listen to these UFO people go on. Well, they're trying to prove that UFOs are above there and the government has them and plays with them.
like Tommy said, they talk about other people's experiences and what scientists have found. Surely, yeah, everyone should be aware of what scientists have found, but then they talk about other people's experiences, but not from first hand, and that's where experiences are so valuable. Tommy, it's that time in our show. So a few years ago, I wasn't well, and I thought Tommy was joking, and he said to me, "Tina, get a Geiger counter." I'm like, "What for?" He said, "Well, at the time, I was losing hair, my teeth was crumbling, I had burns on little burns and marks on my arms and body, and I was having problems with my nails. Excuse me." So I did. I got a Geiger counter. We can't see it now because of the camera. Anyway, so it is electrical magnetic radiation tester. I'm just going to turn it on. Tommy has the identical one. I got it on Amazon. It's my second one. I think the first one dropped my first one in the tea or something like that. Anyway, so I'm just going to turn it on. And only about 18, 19 pounds, I think, about 20 pounds. And mine is saying, excuse me, what is saying? Excuse me, logged it right. There's nothing. So mine's reading nothing at the moment. But however, I'm going to hold it up to the side of my head. Oh, it's beeping this like mad this time to me. So you can see that it's actually picking up electrical magnetic radiation.
Mine's beeping from the screen, my computer screen that has electromagnetic field that's dangerous.
It's just coming from the side of my head to my ear and behind my ear.
She doesn't have a toy in her hand.
1.38 microteslas. I'm going to try the other side.
It's not a trick Geiger counter. I got the exact same one, and that's actually her second one because she broke the first one. All right.
So yeah, I want to hold it away. It reads 0. So I'm just going to turn it off. Who created aliens? I have no idea. I have no idea, John.
All right. Let me tell you this. I got to say this, Tina. Anybody that's watching this, I have a scientist that's supposed to be watching this right now. Look, I got my Geiger counter on the screen, on right over Tina's face, and I got 0.40 and the red light's blinking on that right now, which shouldn't be possible. I shouldn't be picking up her radiation over the computer. And I move my phone, my Geiger counter over to me, it disappears, and I move it right back to her face on this side, and it goes off radiation. It doesn't do it every week, but it's an impossibility, people. I can't get her radiation over the internet. Second of all, radiation doesn't go up and down. Another fact that's, if ask any scientist. So I have a scientist friend. I told him to definitely watch this part of the show and then tell me what he thinks. Because it's impossible what you just saw. And if Tina's radioactive for this long, she probably would be dead normally.
See, there is.
Wait, let me just say this.
Yeah.
I think Tina's protected in a way that the alien race don't want her to die. They don't understand her, and they won't let her. I know you don't like that, Tina, but all the things you went through, she was losing. I don't want to go into it, but she was every symptom of radiation she had. And I didn't even think she was going to last. I said, man, she's losing her fingernails.
Yeah.
She was down and turned to black and blue. I mean, everything was wrong. So, but here she is, hanging in, still looking good. So I say, look, people, whatever's going on is beyond the scientists out there because they won't even get back to me. The government, they're letting us do the show and they didn't take it. But they did go visit her couple men in black, went to visit her friend. And then also they tried to run her boyfriend over. So, yeah, there's a lot of things going on around us. When I put Sean David Martin on, my computer was going crazy. So, yeah, they watch us. But see, they want information. They don't want the same information these UFO people talk about because all they can talk about is the pyramids. Oh, what are they for? What did the aliens do with them? Blah, blah, blah. They're going to help us. No, they are not, people. You know, if I'm a good person, and I'm walking the street and I see a little kid running out in the street in a car coming, I'm a good person. I'm going to let him get smashed by a car? No, I'm not. You think these aliens care about us? You think they care about every child being sold into slavery, body parts and all that stuff? And you think they don't care? I mean, you think they really care? They don't. Because when there's a war and anything, they can take more bodies. And there's an alien base next to every army base on this planet, people, whether you want to know that or not. Every big one. Now,
I've got sorry, Tommy. I've got it's just dawned on me. John's just asked the question, who created aliens? And I said, I didn't know. But I can tell you that they choose to be in those bodies. Their consciousness or their essence, they can move from either body to body or brain to brain or soul to soul. I'm not sure how they do it. But they live in those bodies for an extremely long time and they can leave at will when they choose. We only leave our bodies when we die. So, but they choose to be in those bodies. Sorry, Tommy.
I want to throw a little bit into that, people. Aliens are reincarnating into human bodies now, people. You're going to hear it over and over. I'm a walking. No, that's because they're an alien walking into a physical body now. It's an awareness growth. They are totally unaware of any spiritual truth, period. Whether you want to believe that or not, they're not angels, they're not deities, gods. They're beings that are lower grade than we are. All right. Why did God create them? God did, people. God created dinosaurs. Why did he create dinosaurs? Why did he create a roach? All these things, people, were created for a reason. Evolution, yes, in a different way than the scientists say. One didn't change into the other. No, human races were brought to this planet. 9 were. All right. So, people, when you talk about science, they have no clue what's really going on, and they do not give you the truth of what is happening. Now, when they say the fires were started here in Hawaii, wait to hear what they say. It's going to be a ridiculous story, like John Ford. When I told you about him, here's what they said: he had a barrel of uranium. Impossible. He was going to take tubes of it and go into people's houses and put it in their toothpaste. He would die if he tried doing that. People, he was put in jail, and they said, no, we'll put him in a nut house. And he can't get out of the nut house because they don't want him to show the video that he shot of the ship crashing on Long Island, which I saw. It is the most clear, perfect video of a ship with things laying around it, people. All right? They won't let that come out. He sent it around the world to 4 places. They only come out if he dies, and they sure don't want him to die. All right? That's why they keep him in a nut house, in a nice little room where he can't go nowhere. So, people, the UFO world, if you cared about the truth, you would get him out of the nut house, and he would release that video. It was 96. At that time, he couldn't put a video out, and they would just take it away and take him away, which he was afraid of. And that's why he didn't do it. But that's why he sent 4 copies around the world. All right. I was lucky to see it. But people, when Tina says things, I mean, there's UFOs over her house all the time now. Something's wrong, people. Do you understand that?
My partner took this picture. Oh, God damn it, there. My partner took that picture yesterday. It was yesterday. I've blown it up. It was in the sky. Oh, sorry. It's because I've got a background on. There you go. Put it in front of my face. No. There you go. Yeah, I was 1 o'clock this morning, that was. And it's flashing, changing colours, yellow, orange, purple. So, yeah, if you go on to Tina Bird on Facebook or TA Bird, you'll see the pictures and the other pictures of the objects we regularly take just from pictures outside my garden. You'll see unidentified flying objects in them. But before we go on, because we're running out of time very quickly, people, we're down to the last 5 or 7 minutes, I think. Next week, I'm away, so there won't be a show. Tommy will probably be on, but
I'm doing a show, but you'll be away.
Yeah, I'll be away, and what I'll do, I'll fill you in on everybody I meet, and what I'm doing. I'm giving a UFO talk. I'm giving I'm doing a book signing. I'm meeting loads of people from ufology. I was supposed to be meeting Luis Elizondo, but he pulled out last year, so I can't. I'm not seeing him now. James Fox, I'm seeing. Jimmy Church will be there. Craig Charles will be there. Mary Rodwell's there. I'm looking forward to meeting her, and many, many, many others. So I think, oh God, what's his name? There's going to be quite a few people there. So I could show you the pictures and give you updates and telling you anything new that has come out in the world of ufology with everything going on. I'm still waiting for the NASA report due out this month, I believe. Haven't heard anything about that coming out. I'm looking forward to that, but I do believe it is due this month. But so our next show, because it's bank holiday here on the 28th, should be Tuesday the 29th of August, because we're into the next day. We're in 2 days after that. We're in autumn here in the UK. First days of autumn. We haven't even had a summer. It's been raining every day. 29th of August will be our next show. We'll have lots to talk about, get some pictures. But until then, I wish Tommy all the best and be safe out there in Hawaii. If you need anything, give us a shout and let us know. I will send you pictures and information. But again, you can find me on Facebook, internet, Twitter, all the media platforms, YouTube, on our encounters with Tommy. please look us up. We're on there, and I'm TA Barrett on Facebook. But between now and then, Tommy, not next week, but the week after, I will see you. I want
Well,
lots
don't
of
forget, Tina.
catch up on those American reports for me. I especially want to hear about the NASA one.
Don't forget, if you do want to show any time during the time that you're there, we can do it live for half hour, 5 minutes, whatever.
They're really long here in the UK. Normally they're short. It starts at 9 or 10 in the morning, doesn't finish till 10 o'clock at night. And then I've got to go back to my hotel. So I'm taking my PA up with me. So hopefully she'll share some of the driving about and things like that with me. But yeah, so I'm going to be exhausted, but it'd be worth going.
Well,
I'm really looking forward to it.
Have a great time. Hope it turns out good for you, which I know it will.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, John, for watching.
No, I'll let you just talk about your books before you leave. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Tina.
so I have 3 books now. 3, I think 2 are in the top 10 or 2. They're all on Amazon. They're free on Amazon Unlimited. You can get them on Amazon Kindle. And that is The Checkpoint, The Guardians of Light, and Brotherhood of the Night. And you can find The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. I think the Truth About Alien Abduction and The Bonded is £10 on Amazon. The Guardians of Light, I think, are the same amount, and the Checkpoint short story, Ramon Mant's book, is $6.99, I believe. So find me on author's page and find me on Amazon. So if you're interested in abduction, please just buy my book. It is only £10. If you want it signed, I can send you a signed card as well. But from me here, Tina Barrett in the UK, I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye to everyone in Hawaii and everyone listening to this on the internet and around the world. It's been awesome, Tommy. Thank us again, John. And I'll see you week after next. Bye-bye, guys. I'll see you
Bye-bye, Tina.
later.
Have a good time.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, Tina Bird, great person. Like I said, we've been together now on this show for 3 years. And we open it. I don't open it up to many people. I didn't get to say it while she was here. Hopefully soon I'm going to be bringing a very important guest. I'm not even going to say his name yet. I just want to make sure it's going to happen. One of the top UFO speakers right now. And like I said, I usually don't do that. And I'm bringing him on because I'm going to give him the trust because of all the things he said. Not the things he didn't say, because he didn't say much about aliens. But basically, he's the top speaker out there. So, people, I will give you a notice on that when that's going to happen. Hopefully soon. Hopefully I can get Tina on, because trying to get the same day from both of them is really going to be hard. But I know I will set it up with him and hopefully get Tina to be able to come on it. I know at times she can do it, because she works in a zoo and she's busy all day. So it's nighttime where she is right now. But her conference should be really good, letting her speak. Now, I don't go anywhere anymore. And the reason why is people are afraid of me. And I'm serious about that. I mean, my life started when I was 16. I became a high priest. I was going against the mob's high priest and everybody. I challenged everybody all along the way. Not because I had to, just because I could. And I went through battles, incredible battles, which I never talked about. But again, I mean, I died 5 times during that whole time frame. So yeah, I had a trip every which way. But now it's critical. We have so many things going down. I just want to finish up that story about John Ford. Anybody in the UFO world that has any abilities or cares about what's really happening, get him out. We need to get him out. I mean, the government says he has to be reevaluated. They did that since 1996. If you people that don't follow the UFO world greatly, which I did all my life, because I was in it, 1996 was probably the worst year for the UFO world. And big and little people in the UFO world were taken out, almost 100. John Ford was arrested that year. Phil Snyder was killed that year. And that's the second most important UFO story out there, people. Read it. It's not like all these people at conferences and, oh, the UFO this. No, he went into an alien army base. They didn't know where they were going. 66 Green Berets, whatever it was, went into a base. And they were going in there with a mission. He was the only one that came out alive, people. His body was blasted by a beam as he got into the belt that was taking him out. His hand was chopped right in half. His stomach was ripped open all across his stomach, all the way down, and his foot was blown out. Now, you don't do that by committing suicide either, people. But he was living with that, and he started lecturing. And then he was found dead, all right, wrapped up in barbed wire in his room. But obviously, no blood, no real proof of anything about him committing suicide, because he didn't. All right, that's one important story. You need to read his story. Whether people like it or not, that's a different story too, because we don't want to talk about bad aliens. Nobody wants to talk about bad aliens, considering they all are. They don't abduct people in fun. It's not about knocking on your door. Excuse me, would you like to take a trip up into space and travel and let us abuse your body? But now, I'm going to tell you one thing that most people do not know either. Truman, when he allowed aliens to abduct people, he said they cannot remember what happened. For 25 years, people didn't remember, and it was missing time. But there came a point when human consciousness started evolving a little bit more, and they were able to realize something happened. All right, and that lasted for a couple of years, but then it became fearful, because now the truth's starting to come out. What they did, aliens had to reprogram people, meaning I call them experiences, giving them a good experience, not real. Now, Corey, good, all right. He goes, oh, they show me visions of the past, present, and future. Well, they can give you visions of whatever they want you to believe, period. And our government has the same tools now as well. But what I'm trying to get you to see is what all these experiences in the UFO world talking about, every experience was good. No, it's not. It never will be. Aliens aren't here to become our friends. They're not here to help us. And what could they help us do? Be humans? Learn how to be a human? How to respect each other? How to love each other? How to care about each other? No, because they don't. And if you don't believe it could change in a second, watch the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. That came out the year before I was born. I was born in 52, so it came out in 1951. But watch that movie. If an alien race was good and had power, all right, they would come down and say, look, this is your only warning. It stops today or you're going to be gone. All right? Something like that would have to happen. But, they're not good. They're not helping us. Now, I'm going to throw something out there that I'm one of the few people on the planet that know it, and it's not anything really important, but I think it's important in the UFO world. John Lennon was abducted on a ship, people. He was given an artifact. The only person I know in the UFO world that was actually given something from an alien. And he ended up giving that to a real famous, I don't know what you want to call him, magician, healer, psychic, a bunch of all of it together. All right. And he still has it. He's still alive. He still has it in his pocket, won't let go of it. But again, John Lennon hated aliens. I'm not going to go into all the details around it, but he was abducted, and he didn't like it, and he didn't like them either. But outside of that, people come out and say, well, the aliens are good. The mantis are good. The tall whites are good. The grays are good. Every race is good. No, they're not. There's basically 9 races working with this planet. Putin and a couple other people said 27, but they're not good. If any race is working with the government, they're not good, are they? Because when they work with people, all they do with people is abduct them. You don't see them helping us, going around giving people gold bricks or anything beneficial. Now, I'll just say this. John, I don't want to go into too many different people. Fred Bell, all right, was found dead 2 days after he did a show with Jesse Ventura. Right? Fred Bell worked for the Army and Navy. He designed the HARP system. All right. He also saw two of the ships that are capable of going to Mars. His book is very important. I'd say it's about the second or third most important book in the UFO world. Fred Bell, all right, he's got a couple books, but he actually was friends with Billy Myers, who was on their ships as well, and given technology, medicine. But the Pleiadians aren't actively working with lots of people, just so you know that. And they're not here to be friends with us and all that. And I could go on because John Melchizedek claims he worked with the alien races inside the Earth. He was supposed to bring them out years ago. He called them the Crystal Race. So, when people like the Galactic Confederation go on and on about what they're going to do, and every time they say one thing, it never happens. It's not a real thing, people. It's a program. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's your choice. But prove it. Prove that they're really here. When a race comes here, they will be here, and the whole world will know it. All right? When they want to make people know that they're here, they will be coming out and saying, okay, this is what we want you to do. Just like the movie V. If you never watched it, watch it, because that's how it will go down. If aliens come here, they will not be our friends, really, no matter what they say and do. I did a UFO conference with a person that said he worked with the Nordics. Claimed they pulled him out of a car accident. I said, okay, what else did they do? He couldn't name one other thing, and he said he works with them. I said, well, you work with them and you can't name something else that they helped you with? When man has an experience, he multiplies it in his mind. It becomes the greatest thing. People that have been abducted, the alien hunter, Travis Walton, and all these people that are so involved in the UFO world, tell great stories. The alien hunter has what? A fake hand now? A wax hand? And he goes, it's a healing hand. The show that I did in Next Area 51, this girl claimed, and she worked for the government, she was monitoring the ships coming in and out. And she said they took her to the moon. All right? And she lost 30 days of her life. But she was being abused on the ship. There was 2 aliens on the ship with the government. And it wasn't the aliens that were abusing her. It was the people on the ship that were. She was never allowed off the ship when they got on the moon. Whether she was brought for entertainment or whatever the reason was horrible. But when we did the conference, she couldn't come out of the room. When she did her talk, she was crying. But the year after, she's suddenly a spiritual teacher. People take an experience and they put it into the idea that why we're here, which very few people on this planet truly have a clue why they're here. Not to save mankind. God didn't have to create all this if it just wanted perfect humans and put us here. And God did create us, all of us, and all the aliens and everything else that exists. So, but people, if you want the truth, this is one place you can find it. If you want more, ask questions. Chat room's open. John Lennon didn't kill aliens. Oh, John Edmund. John Edmund never had good karma, people. He had aliens, entities, everything in his yard. His wife was possessed. A medicine person and I did ceremony for her. We got rid of it. But he wanted to keep the entities there because he was going to try to make the property a UFO base for people to come visit and all that. Lots of things went down. And I don't believe he killed 18 Greys, which he said he did. Maybe he did kill 2 or 3. He had one proven by the blood. The same person that did the operation on Evie did the blood testing of the blood and proved that it was not of planet Earth. But I brought him out into the real world, made him come out. Sorry I did, because he was killed. Not last Christmas before. I was friends with him. I was trying to help him spiritually, which he kept saying yes, yes, yes. Never was. But he was working with the entities. He claimed all these aliens came out and, he met this. The lies got too big and I canceled my friendship with him. And then months later he was killed. But I had my other friend help him finish his book. People, I've been there. I've been around all the top people in the UFO world. And the only cool ones are gone. Most of them were killed. Some just disappeared. Uh, One or two died of sickness, but usually, I don't know if you know this or not, you can be given something to die of a sickness real easy. I can create a whole story on that's true about SETI. The original SETI, there were two, government one and a private owned one. I was friends with the private owned one. All I'll say is both of the president and vice president were killed. They came in their room and they were injected and they said, you're going to die and there's nothing you can do about it. And they both died. One died a month later, the other one died 2 months later. All right, they went out to the reservation trying to get medicine to help them. And when he came back, she said to me, oh, I'm really, really sick. And she died. People, the government knows everything. Everything that's happening is not a mistake. All right, and I keep saying, if the government cared about human race, rather than they spent $40 billion on a spaceship they're going to release this year, or within a year. But they can't create, you know what a hydrogen bomb is, a proton bomb, and electron bombs are? They do different things. A neutron bomb versus the atom bomb. One blows up the outer, and the other one blows up the inner. One does totally different things. So they have multiple uses and multiple kind of bombs to use. So when people say, well, oh, this, that, and the other thing, there's wars going on. Who's going to use what? Now, inside information was given to the army by an alien, and watch it on his show called Alien Interrogation. It's real. He says one person's going to destroy the planet. And they were trying to make him say who that one person was, but he never did. But there's two people here on this planet right now saying they're from Venus. She does a lot of work up. The one girl does a lot of work up at Mount Shasta, where my friend works, does her stuff as well. People, there's so many things going on, especially with aliens. And I hate to say this, nothing good is happening. The fires are burning around the United States, other countries. I had a friend that just got in touch with me. He said, I studied with you 10 years ago and I lost you. And my country, religions are really bad. There's nothing, this, that, and the other thing. So I said, okay, we'll do a class. So I might be doing a workshop once a week with him and everybody else too. But in the interim, what's happening with these fires everywhere? He said his half of the part of the country is flooded. All right, all these things that happen because of global warming, but nobody in the UFO world, government world, any world on this planet talk about the real reasons why it's happening. And it's not that God hates us. We hate ourselves. We don't love ourselves enough to make the planet better. If we did, this world could be incredible, which it is not. The more medicines they feed you, the more food they give you that's toxic, the further you pull away from being a pure spiritual being. God creates good things, not garbage. We create garbage. So I don't talk about spiritual things too much when Tina's on, because everything she went through, she has no idea that there's a God, angels, and the government doesn't care about her, which they don't. So she's living in a world of like persecution. Why? Because nobody really cares. So people, it's starting to pour out there. I guess you can hear it. But I'm going to cut the show short because you're not going to hear a word I say. It's so bad. It gets really loud here. But look, Sajel is not my friend. He sold out. And for a word, I know people don't like it. You can't put people down or anything, but he's not aware of who he is. And it's not who he says he is, people. All right, Tommy Hawksblood here. If you're interested, my email address is hawksblood1al.com. I'll just put it up. No lies here, people. The truth only, and that's all I believe in, and that's all we want to put out. Like I said, the UFO world hate me because I'm too real, too honest, and I know much more than any one of them does. And that's not ego, people. I was next to an alien. I was next to a ship. I was next to a Bigfoot. I learned 30 psychic abilities, and I stopped them all. And then we got Caroline Corbett. Oh, I can levitate a piece of paper. And I can change DNA. Anybody can change other people's DNA. It's not complicated. Just change the energy around it. But I don't want to go into all that, people. The truth's out there. If you want it, please stop in, ask questions, Skype me if you want, Hawksblood11. But I'll give you the truth. I'm not going to give you lies. Till next time, next week, I don't know how it's going to go down yet because Tina won't be here. But till then, peace, love, passion, truth, whatever you want in your life. Don't stop until you get it. Don't settle for anything less.